Hi everyone, it's Nina again with some yoga classes for you. I actually just came back from a run, so I thought that it might be quite nice to take us through a bit of post-exercise, particularly running, stretches with a little bit of abs incorporated. So less flow, a bit more stretching. I'll try to keep it to around a 30-minute class today. So let's get started on our hands and knees. Actually, let's get started in child's pose. Let's first ground ourselves. So bringing your forehead down to the mat, your knees spread apart, pushing your bum back down towards your heels. And just relaxing here. Already feeling where you may have some tightness. I can already feel it in my lower back and my quads as a result of just going on a run. And start to breathe more deeply. Long inhales, long exhales. Maybe pushing your forehead forward a little bit, creating a little wrinkle in the skin at the top of your forehead. From here, coming up to all fours, we'll do some cat-cows to loosen up our spine. But this time, when we do them, be really conscious about traveling up and down your spine. So really think about, as you are going into your cow to start, so that's with your tailbone and your head towards the sky, start from your shoulders. Start pushing your shoulders up towards the sky, and then slowly traveling down your spine until you bring your tailbone up towards the sky. And then do it in reverse. Tuck your tailbone under. Slowly start traveling up your spine until you're ultimately really pushing through your hands and arching your back. On your inhale, back into your cow, making it this really conscious movement, imagining that each vertebrae is moving on its own when its time comes. And then again, into your cat position, exhaling, traveling up the spine. Let's do one more time, slowly and intentionally. And then just shifting your weight forwards and backwards, side to side, rolling your spine, whatever feels good to you. Coming back to neutral, we're going to start warming up our abs. So engage your abdomen, lifting your right arm up in front of you and your left leg back behind you. On your exhale, you're going to bring your elbow and your knee together underneath you, and then inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, crunch, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch, inhale, crunch, inhale. Two more times, crunch, inhale, crunch, inhale. Release that down. And we'll do the other side. So this time, right leg long behind you, left arm in front of you, abs engaged. On your exhale, crunch. On your inhale, lengthen. Let's do 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done, letting that go. From here, we're going to push back into our first downward facing dog. So gripping your fingertips, tucking your toes under, pushing back and bringing your bum up to the sky. Keeping your knees bent if you need to for this first downward facing dog. Maybe you want to paddle out your legs, really stretching the back of the calves, starting to loosen up the back of the hamstrings. Maybe bending your knees and then lifting up, bending, lifting, and then finally coming into your downward dog position. So really gripping the mat with your fingertips, fingers spread apart, rotating your armpits towards each other underneath you, tailbone tilted to the sky, pulling your heels down towards the mat. But you can always keep your knees bent if you need to here. Shaking out your head, no. Shaking out your head, yes. Now from here, we're actually going to walk our hands back towards our feet for a change. So just walking your hands back towards your feet, staying folded over with your feet hip width apart, and just maybe grabbing your elbows and rocking from side to side. Loosening out the back side of your body. This feels really good after a run. So a lot of us often have very tight IT bands as a result of exercise that we're doing, particularly running. So we're going to do a stretch for our IT band. So actually from here, just roll your spine up, come up to standing. I'll do it facing you. So just take your right foot and cross it over the top of your left foot. So you're standing in this kind of crossed position. Try and keep your hips really parallel to the front of wherever you're looking, and then start hinging from your hips down. You'll already start to feel a pull on your IT band on the outside of that left thigh. If you can only go this far and you're already feeling it, then that's fine. If you can go deeper, start to reach down towards the floor. Shifting your weight forward slightly into the balls of your feet and trying to keep your weight even between both feet. You should feel a stretch on the outside of your left glute and your IT band. Just breathe into this. With control, lengthening out your spine, raising back up, and then we'll do the other side. So bringing your left foot over. Again, hips parallel to the front of the mat, hinging from the hips, starting to fold forward. You'll already start feeling that pull, and then just going as deep as you comfortably can. It may even be that you're almost standing upright, but you're still feeling a bit of a pull there. Shifting your weight forward slightly into your heel, into your balls of your feet. Breathing here. With control, lengthening out your spine and raising back up. Good. From here, just coming to standing, bringing your arms up towards the ceiling, grabbing your left wrist with your right hand, inhaling to lengthen, and exhaling, just pulling your body over to the right hand side, sending your hips to the left. On your inhale, come back to center, switch your hands, so this time you're grabbing your right wrist with your left hand, inhale to lengthen, exhale over to the left hand side, sending your hips to the right. This feels so good. Inhale to center, switch, exhale. Inhale to center, switch, exhale. One more time. Inhale to center, switch, exhale. Inhale to center, switch, exhale. Great. So now coming back to the back of your mat, hinging from your hips, fold down into a forward fold. Again, you may want to paddle out your knees a little bit, keep your knees bent. Really make sure you're keeping your spine long here, shifting your weight forward into your heels slightly. And if you're already feeling flexible enough, you can start to straighten out your legs and really reaching, pulling yourself. You can grab behind your calves if you want to, pulling yourself in towards you. From here, we're going to walk our hands forward into our plank position. And we're going to hold our plank for about 10 seconds. So in this plank position, make sure your wrists are directly under your shoulders. Your tailbone is tucked under. Your legs are strong and long behind you, heels pulling away from you, and you've got a little round in your upper back. You're not sinking down like this. You're keeping yourself engaged and your core is tight and strong. I know we've already been here, but the 10 seconds starts now. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. You can push back into your downward facing dog. Paddle that out. Looking forward, bringing your right foot forward to the center of your hands, helping it with your hand if you need to, into a long lunge. Bring your left knee down. You can untuck your toes or you can keep them tucked, but we're going to rise up just into this kneeling lunge. Starting to think about stretching out our hips in this position. So really shifting your weight forward as much as you can. Try not to sink into your hips, really do keep it engaged. So think about pulling your right thigh back, your left hip forward, but feeling a really nice stretch on the front of your left hip here. Keeping your knee over your ankle, and really just going deeper into that stretch. If you'd like, I might do this, you can pull back a little bit, go a bit deeper, maybe lifting your back heel. Be careful, I think I just tweaked my hamstring doing that, so maybe that's not meant for me today. But you can lift up your back heel and grab that back foot to get a bit of a quad stretch in here too. From here, sink your hips back. Let your right leg go long in front of you. Flex your toes and start to fold over that long leg. Now moving into a hamstring stretch. So again, pulling your right hip back, your left hip forward, keeping your spine long and feeling the pull, the stretch along the back of your right calves and hamstring. Shifting your weight forward again to let that go. Tuck your heel under and just step your right foot back into your downward facing dog again. Paddling that out. This time bringing your left foot forward between your hands into that lunge position, dropping your right knee and then coming up into that kneeling lunge and really shifting your weight forward, pushing your heels down. Engaging your hip, pulling your left knee back, your right hip forward. Maybe I have it on this side. Yep, this is better. You can grab the back foot and incorporate a little bit of a quad stretch on the front of your right quad here. Keeping your spine long, breathing into it. Letting that go, shifting your hips back, straightening out that left leg. Keeping your spine long, and leaning over that lengthened leg, toes flexed, pointing back towards you. So when I tried to grab my foot on the left side, I tweaked my hamstring a little bit. So I'm going to be super careful with it, not over exerting myself. The last thing that you want is to actually pull the muscle. But I think I'm okay. Caught it soon enough. Right, shifting forward, planting your hands, tucking your foot under, and just stepping back into your downward facing dog again. One thing if you run a lot is your hips can get very tight because you're just doing this constant forward and back motion with your legs. And so it's really not great for any kind of, it makes your hips really tight, and that's in turn what starts to cause your IT bands to get tight, and people get runner's knee, and that's really coming all the way from the IT bands, and you can end up with really tight glutes as well. So let's do a bit of a hip opening. So lifting your right foot into the sky, just let it fall over to the left-hand side, getting a nice little stretch and opening. Try and get the heel of your left foot down to the mat, and you'll also feel a really nice stretch in your left calf muscle. From here, we're going to pigeon. So bringing your right knee to the back of your right wrist, keeping your right toes flexed, walk your left leg back, and bring your right hip down towards the mat into your pigeon position. Now you should have no knee pain here. If this is too much for you, your alternate position is a seated position with your right knee, with your right ankle over your left knee like this. And then if you're feeling a bit more flexible, you can bring your foot closer in towards you. You can bring your chest closer in towards your foot. This is your alternate if your pigeon is uncomfortable. If you're fine in pigeon, you can stay upright or you can come down into a sleeping pigeon. And just breathing here, breathing into any sensations that you're feeling, as long as they're not pain. Anything painful, you come right out. And again, really keeping your legs engaged. Don't just sink into it. Pull your right knee back, your left hip forward, isometrically engaging those muscles. If you came down into a sleeping pigeon, raise yourself back up, tuck your back toes under, and come back into your downward facing dog. Do the same thing on the left-hand side, so lifting your left leg up into the sky and opening out to the right, just letting it fall. Bringing your right heel down to the mat to really stretch the backside of that right leg. And then coming into pigeon on the left-hand side. So bringing your left knee behind your left wrist, walking your right foot back, bringing your hip down towards the mat, but keeping your weight even. You might need a block or a blanket under your hip if you're too far away. And then if you're going into a sleeping pigeon, coming back down, making sure the toes on your left foot are flexed. Isometric engagement of the thighs and making sure that you're not feeling any pain. Discomfort, yes. Pain, no. From here, if you came into sleeping pigeon, just pushing yourself back up, tucking your back toes under, and lifting yourself back up into your downward facing dog. Now from here, just walk your feet forward and come into a seated position. And do a bit more work on our abs. So from here, we're going to go into Navasana, boat pose. So you've got a few options here. Your first option is to bring your knees so that they are, bend your knees and bring your shins so that they are parallel with the mat. And you can bring your arms long beside you, your palms facing in. This could already be, and you want to make sure that your spine is staying long and strong. So this can already be enough for you. If you're feeling like you can go a bit deeper, you can lengthen yourself out a little bit more, bringing your knees, bringing your your back and your shins closer to the ground. You can even straighten out your legs, straighten out your arms. And if you really want to challenge yourself, which I'm not sure that I have the core strength anymore to do, is you can bring your arms directly back behind you and hold that pose. But find whichever version is comfortable for you. And then we're going to, on the exhale, come down, just hovering above the mat. And on the inhale, come back up. We're going to do that 5 times. So exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. And hold that there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cross your legs and let that go. You can just let yourself relax forward a little bit. And letting that go. Well done. So now staying in your seated position, bring the soles of your feet towards so that they're touching one another and opening out your feet like you're opening up a book. You can grab onto your ankles and use your elbows to push your knees apart. Again, a really nice hip opener here. I'm keeping my spine long, but another really great movement for those of us that are doing a lot of different HIIT exercises and running exercises. Just breathing here. You don't really need to bend forward. You can, if you'd like to. It's a slightly different feeling. But if I'm upright, I'm really focused on the opening and on using the weight of my elbows to really push my knees down. Wonderful. From here, bring your knees in, give them a little bit of shake, and then we're going to come to straddle the side of the mat. So for this, you want your legs engaged, your toes flexed. You might want to pull the fleshy parts of your bum back so that your sit bones are closer to the ground. And we're going to do a couple of single-legged forward folds. Let's start over the left foot. So you're going to inhale to lengthen your spine. You're going to twist your body so that you're facing your left foot a little bit more concretely. And then just start to walk yourself down over that left foot. You might be up here, really focusing on keeping your spine long, or you may have the flexibility to come a bit deeper. Just remember to keep your legs engaged, your toes flexed, and breathing into this. Walking back up, shifting to face your right foot this time, toes flexed, legs engaged, and walking down over that right thigh. Doing it this way with your legs wide just creates like a little bit of a different sensation. I'm feeling it more on the inside of my thighs, and I'm feeling it more on the outer edge of my spine. Walking that back up. We're going to do a bit of a side stretch. So thinking about getting your left shoulder to the inside of your left thigh and leaning and opening up your chest towards the ceiling. This may be enough for you. Otherwise, you may want to try to reach over with your right hand to your left foot, making sure that you're staying open, or even grabbing your foot with both hands. But making sure you're staying open and that you can see the ceiling. Breathing into this. And then with care, raising back up. And doing the same on the right hand side. So tucking that right elbow and shoulder into the right thigh. Reaching over. Keeping your spine open towards the ceiling. Chest open towards the ceiling. And focusing on that side stretch here. Letting that go. Coming back up. And then we're going to go down the center line. So from here, again, legs flexed, legs engaged, toes flexed, spine long, and just start to walk yourself forward. Hinging from the hips, keeping that spine long. Just going as deep as you can. If you're someone who's super flexible and can come all the way to the ground, don't just relax there. Make sure that you're keeping your legs engaged. You're really pulling those muscles back in towards you. Breathing here. And then just walking yourself back up. Tuck your knees in. Give them a little bit of a hug. Give yourself a little bit of a, let you round your back a little bit. I hope you're already feeling quite a bit looser. I know I am. So coming now just to laying on your back. We'll finish up with a few final exercises. So we're not done with our abs yet. We're going to do a little bit of a bicycle. So bringing your shins parallel to the mat. Hands by your ears like you're wearing headphones. Elbows out beside you. And we're going to do a bicycle. So on your exhale, you're going to bring your left elbow to your right knee and lengthen out your left leg. But you're going to bring your elbow to your knee. You're not going to bring your knee to your elbow. So keep that knee out there. And then we're going to switch to the other side and hold it there. Switch again. Left elbow to your right knee. Switch again. And then we're going to do 10, 5 each side, a bit faster. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well done. You can bring your feet down to the mat. Take your right ankle over your left knee and pull that left knee in towards your body. Really think about pushing. You can maybe use your elbow to push that right knee away from you. Feeling a nice stretch on the back of your glutes here. Similar to what we've already done in pigeon pose. Let that go. Switch to the other side. So bringing your left ankle on top of your right knee and pulling that right thigh in towards you. Amazing. Let that go. We're going to finish off with a couple of twists. So bring your right knee in towards you. And then take that knee and just pull it over to the left-hand side. You have your right arm long out to the side of the room and your gaze over to your right hand. Just feeling a nice spinal twist here. Really think about keeping your right shoulder down towards the mat and think about creating length between your right hip and your right shoulder. So really try and push your right hip down and away from you. And you'll feel a bit of an extra stretch and lengthening there. It's more about that lengthen across the side of your body here than it is about getting your knee closer to the ground. Letting that go. Switching over to the other side, so bringing your left knee in towards your body and then letting it fall over towards the right hand side. Left arm out long beside you. Gazing to the left and really thinking about Pulling, keeping that left shoulder down and creating space between your left shoulder and your left hip. And just breathing into that. Coming back to center, and we're going to finish up with a happy baby pose, because that's always one that feels really good after you've done a bit of exercise. So just bending your knees, grabbing your toes, your big toes, with your second and third finger, and letting your knees kind of fall out to the side and pulling them in towards you a little bit. Try to keep the lower back on the ground. So try not to raise up too much. Maybe you want to swing from side to side, keeping your spine long. Maybe you want to lengthen out one leg, lengthen out the other leg, lengthen out both legs, and give yourself a bit of a stretch here, whatever feels good to you. Bringing that back in, bringing your knees together, and then just coming to lay on your back. So those are kind of the stretches and cool down and ab exercises I would do after a run in particular. I think it really helps to loosen out my calves and my hamstrings and my quads again. I hope you enjoyed it. You can rest here in your Savasana for as long as you need. And I'll see you next week.